Mm. Good morning. Oh yeah, back online. Yeah, we had a bad storm here. Mm. Yeah, it's some people around that don't have electricity still. You know. Uh, and I don't understand why we let these people do us like this. I mean, it's always been rough, as long as man been running stuff. But we, if we get off the grid, we are in bad shape. They don't make houses to support you in any type of weather, any type of situation. I know some of these apartments they barely have windows. You know, yeah, they got central air, but come on, where's the you hope fresh air? The heat go out. You don't have no fireplaces. Oh well. Well, you know what? We on a roll here. We gonna continue to talk about um, what led us here. How did we get here? How in the heck did we get a criminal president, a criminal administration again? Come on now. Come on. Come on. And I just want to talk a little bit about something I heard that I'm not even going to really talk on because you know how I am. Because I'm always like, what? Stop complaining. You know, you can talk about whatever you want to talk about, whatever. But let us make a disclaimer. Uh, we are living in United States, so this is to be expected. Okay, keep it real. Don't be asking why. And I'm tired of them comparing what happened to black people and what happened to white people. What is the discrepancy? Duh. We are living in America, the home of the racists, of the racists, of the racists, okay? And this one YouTuber was talking about um, how under headset that they are getting rid of the only black owned company that was supplying military uniforms. Okay. Yeah. So let me see. Okay. Now, you know what? I uh yeah. It's at the Karen Hunter.
Hand stitching, handcrafting the iconic blue and yellow ceremonial flight suits for 43 years, and she didn't even get a phone call. She didn't even get an email. They said nothing. And then they awarded this contract, and it's all government contracts, y'all, are supposed to be bid upon, correct? It's supposed to be a bidding process, it's supposed to be transparent. This regime just handing out money to their people. Just think reflecting pool. We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear.
Okay. Now, only thing I'm gonna say about that is they should have seen that coming. They should have already had that in the. They should already. But see, I'm. You know what? They probably was scared if they say something, maybe they won't notice that they there. If they don't say nothing, oh please, they going down the line. They got people in the background, you know, put in black on and pop your name. And it was just a matter of time before they got somebody else in place to replace you. They should have seen it coming down the pipe. Why we don't see this stuff coming down the pipe? Why do we keep saying, "Oh, I didn't think that would happen to me"? Oh, baby, please. It's just a matter of when. Just like this European. They think ain't nothing gonna happen to them. They think they just gonna go around just, being a wrecking ball, and it's just gonna be gone. And they're gonna be cool. They're gonna have all their offshore money, all their money. So when the shit hits the fan, they could get on their plane and be gone. Let them keep thinking that. But it's a shame that this is happening. But a disclaimer: you are living in America. Keep it real. Keep it real. We need to be. We don't have we don't have a infrastructure that can help us be prepared for this. We should have been prepared for this. We're gonna go over it too, uh, and I'm gonna show exactly why Kamala Harris lost. That helped her lose. We know they cheated too, but that Democratic convention sealed her fate, and I'm gonna show you why I think it did. Because the whole time I looked at it, the whole thing. I even tried to look at the Republican one, but my heart couldn't take too much of it. Okay. Oh, because I got a heart, and the heart can only take so much evil. Um, but I thought this was pretty interesting. This is where we at. How did we get here?
About as during an event at the Oval Office yesterday, President Donald Trump with a woman who people are convinced is a robot. But unfortunately, it's even worse. She's a conservative grifter. We'll get right to the bottom of this robot aid story and uncover the truth and highlight some of the help.
Echo, stop. They all grifters. All they got to do is just say some mean stuff about the left, and suck up to Trump. They got a job. Trump will invent a job for them. Because it ain't his money. Oh, give her $1,000 a week. That's okay. She loves Trump. That's what he be saying. She loves Trump.
Hilarious takes about her in just a moment, but before we do, please go ahead and subscribe to Raw America if you have not already, and click the like button so YouTube shares this video with more folks like yourself. Getting back into it, during an event at the Oval Office yesterday in regards to changes to federal vaccine recommendations, Americans were puzzled and arguably concerned about the robotic nature of the woman standing to Trump's right.
How they want the vaccines given to their kids. I believe fundamentally that many vaccines are important. I've said measles, for instance, the measles vaccine is important if we want to take control of the measles outbreak. But at the same time, we shouldn't be keeping kids out of school because they have made different decisions than other parents. Our European colleagues don't do that. A lot of the collapse in trust in public health has come because of these mandates that we've seen imposed during the Biden administration on the COVID vaccine and so many other things. What this does is it restores.
And the eeriness of the lifeless behavior of the woman was compounded by both the behavior of the president and RFK Jr., as both were either asleep or shaking like they hadn't had their 4 p.m. pack of cigarettes yet, further cementing that this once great republic is falling before our very eyes.
The number of diseases universally recommended for vaccines from 17 to 11. And establishing distinct categories of recommendations based upon the scientific evidence. Our assessment found that the United
How utterly terrifying. But this didn't stop Americans from asking.
Come on now, what the world? This is supposed to be a serious. The government's supposed to be serious. It's supposed to be hierarchy. It's supposed to be up there. Professionalism. um, you're supposed to be looking at the best of the best. You're supposed to be looking at something to uh, thrive, to be, even if it is bad sometimes. But come on, look, did y'all just saw what I saw? And this is what our kids, we want our kids to be, to look at, to see, and wonder, what the hell?
One important question. Who the hell is this woman? Users on X posited this woman is a cyborg. Stock your bunker. You've been warned. Who was this nodding zombie at
vaccines, the food systems? Thank you as well, Secretary Kennedy. I believe health is the number one issue in this country. If you don't have health and we don't have a healthy country, we don't have anything at all. And no parent should feel the pressure of immediately their child is born and a bunch of vaccines are pressured and pushed upon them. This is about free.
Say a healthy country. They always leave out the Europeans healthy. We are concerned about the Europeans' health, not the other people. They always seem to forget to bring that up. She's going to say a healthy country.
Freedom at the end of the day. This is what this country was built on. Freedom for parents to make the decisions that best suit their kid. And I'm not anti-vaccine at all. I'm pro-vaccine, but we want to be able to have the freedom to space it out and to choose which one works for our child. We don't believe that there's a one-size-fits-all solution for every child. So we're so thankful for everything that you're doing, Mr. President. It's just extraordinary.
And so there's the answer, and nobody had anything else to say about it. Nah, fuck that. Have you watched this channel before? People memed the fuck out of this lady, and rightfully so. Consider dressing up as the robotic nodding aide this year for Halloween. One user made the connection that she looks suspiciously like the robot Megan from the Megan movies, while another user thought
I wanted to look at this with you.
Please welcome National Convention Secretary Jason Ray.
And let's look at this. I said that we were not serious enough. They knew the opposition. They knew the opponent, what he is and what he is to his followers. You're talking about a man that has his followers looking at him like godlike, comparing him to Jesus. Don't care if he did molest children or raped a woman, or said he'd grab them by the poo, or had an affair with a porn star after his wife had a baby. You're talking about a man that can have that kind of record and still have millions of followers. You gotta treat him totally different. Because I'm gonna tell you something. When I see them, I know they was appealing to Democrats, but no, y'all should have y'all should have been appealing to the whole world. Instead of having choir singers, you should have had a whole choir of lawyers and prosecutors. They should have never stopped talking about his record, his followers' records, his words. They should have been singing his evil, racist words instead of some choir song.
Well, good evening, delegates. My name is Jason Ray, and I serve as the secretary of both the Democratic National Committee and the Democratic National Convention.
That's the problem. That's the problem right there. You're going to put one man over over this?
Convention. I remember watching my very first convention on television when I was just 10 years old.
Okay, we don't want to hear that.
That's why we cast 10 votes for our next president, Kamala Harris.
Indiana welcomed me into its heart as soon as I married Christine Harrell from Rolling Prairie. And that's before I lived in Hawkins or played the littlest player with the biggest heart at the University of Notre Dame, Rudy. I want what's best for Indiana, and that means electing Kamala Harris, the first woman president of the United States of America.
On behalf of the great Hoosier State, home of the largest single sporting day event in the world, the Indy 500, home of Michael Jackson, home of Babyface, home of David Letterman, Indiana delivered this 86 delegates to Kamala Harris and Tim Walz as the next.
Okay, this is not what I wanted. This is not the whole convention. And then her second mistake was picking Tim Walsh. Come on now. She would have been better off picking Stacey Adams. Because for one thing, you have to look at it. Even if you didn't lose, even if you didn't win, you would have had two powerful black women. Well, any woman really. She didn't have to be black. But two women speaking truth to power. This is not what I wanted to. I thought it was the whole convention. I should have known it wasn't. But let's listen to Michelle's speech.
Something wonderfully magical is in the air, isn't it? Yeah. You know, we're feeling it here in this arena, but it's spreading all across this country we love. A familiar feeling that's been buried too deep for far too long. You know what I'm talking about. It's the contagious power of hope. The anticipation, the energy, the exhilaration of once again being on.
We need more than hope. I hope that they take that word out of the equation in 2028. Whoever runs for 2028. You know what they're going to have to run on in 2028? Health, the environment, wages, affordability, housing, and most of all, law and order. And it's a shame. They got a lot. They're going to have a lot they're going to have to run on, especially getting back our ability to lead, since we want to lead so much. Now we're not leading nothing but in crime and suffering. That's the only thing we're really leading in. We're going to have to embrace parents and children and the workers, because the workers are really being disenfranchised right now. They are literally bragging about how many jobs they have taken away from people, especially Black women. And we're going to have to fight to get the voting rights back and abortion rights back. And they need somebody who is willing to fight for that. We need somebody that's not scared to piss the white people off. That's what we need. They've been running stuff in the ground too long.
On the cusp of a brighter day, the chance to vanquish the demons of fear, division, and hate that have consumed us and continue pursuing the unfinished promise of this great nation, the dream that our parents and grandparents fought and died and sacrificed for. America, hope is making a comeback.
Okay, that was nice. That was cute. But we need more than hope. We needed we needed a Muhammad Ali. We needed a fighter. We need somebody, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. All that wasted money on them, on those. We should have been have billboards all over the city. We should have. I mean, really, we should. I didn't have nobody talk to me. I didn't get not one phone call. I didn't have not one talk. We don't have any. We don't have anybody having any focus groups. Nothing. We don't have that now. You know what we had in 2020, leading up to 2024? Nothing but a bunch of YouTubers telling us day to day all the crimes that Trump and his minions are doing. That's all we had every day, and he still got elected. We can't make that same mistake. We need more groups. We need more boots on the ground and more focus groups of every age. You know that what they had back there with Fannie Lou and all them, they had focus groups. They had stuff done. We, us Black women now, we doing it, but we ain't doing it enough. Too many of us out here trying to look cute. It ain't time to look cute, because you ain't gonna look cute in them fields.
But to be honest, I am realizing that until recently, I have mourned the dimming of that hope. And maybe you've experienced the same feelings. Is that deep pit in my stomach, a palpable sense of dread about the future. And for me, that mourning has also been mixed with my own personal grief. The last time I was here in my hometown was to memorialize my mother. the woman who showed me the meaning of hard work and humility and decency, the woman who set my moral compass high and showed me the power of my own voice. Folks, I still feel her loss so profoundly. I wasn't even sure if I'd be steady enough to stand before you tonight, but my heart compelled me to be here because of the sense of duty that I feel to honor her memory and to remind us all not to squander the sacrifices our elders made to give us a better future. You see, my mom, in her steady, quiet way, lived out that striving sense of hope every single day of her life. She believed that all children, all people have value, that anyone can succeed if given the opportunity. She and my father didn't aspire to be wealthy. In fact, they were suspicious of folks who took more than they needed. They understood that it wasn't enough for their kids to thrive if everyone else around us was drowning. So my mother volunteered at the local school. She always looked out for the other kids on the block. She was glad to do the thankless, unglamorous work that for generations has strengthened the fabric of this nation. The belief that if you do unto others, if you love thy neighbor, if you work and scrape and sacrifice, it will pay off. If not for you, then maybe for your grandchildren.
That is so true. You know, that just brings tears to my eyes, because I do believe that nobody's ever asked to be here. We come here into this beautiful, vast world to live, not to survive, but to live. And why we can't expand on our talents and help others to be better, and they help others to be better. We are evolving backwards, not forward, because I look at all of the violence that's going on is just unheard of. It's just like, what the hell? Where am I at? Did I wake up on another planet? And then you hear about, why are these people so mad? Why do they want to kill people they don't even know? And why do you want to, break into my house and take my little belongings that I worked hard for and probably can't even replace anytime soon? I mean, it's just crazy. And then why are we electing somebody who wants to cause us more pain and anguish? That are literally traumatizing people in front of our eyes. And there's nothing we can do about it. How did we get here? Well, I'm not going to spend too much time on her, but you see the sense why we did not choose someone. Why we're not choosing someone that feels like that can happen. And I know, disclaimer, we are living in America, but listen to little bit of what Obama said.
you, thank you. Thank you, everybody, thank you. Thank you. All right, that's enough. Thank you. Chicago, it's good to be home. It is good to be home. But it's true. And looking back, I can say without question that my first big decision as your nominee turned out to be one of my best. And that was asking Joe Biden to serve by my side as vice president. Other than some common Irish blood, Joe and I come from different backgrounds, but we became brothers. And as we worked together for 8, sometimes pretty tough years, what I came to admire most about Joe wasn't just his smarts, his experience. It was his empathy and his decency and his hard-earned resilience, his unshakable belief that everyone in this country deserves a fair shot. And over the last 4 years, those are the values America has needed most. At a time when millions of our fellow citizens were sick and dying, we needed a leader with the character to put politics aside and do what was right.
And I want to talk about that. That would really make me mad. That could have been me or one of my family members getting sick off that COVID, because we had a president that would not tell us that it was a pandemic. Now, I know Barack or Joe would have immediately, and they would have been on top of it immediately. If they had to shut down the city until they figure out how to stop the spread and how to keep people safe, we would not have lost so many people. But I think it was their intention. Those evildoers in his cabinet, that was their intentions, to get rid of a lot of people. That's going to save a lot of money. It's painful how they treat people's lives. Just painful.
At a time when our economy was reeling, we needed a leader with the determination to drive what would become the world's strongest recovery. 15 million jobs, higher wages, lower health care costs. At a time when the other party had turned into a cult of personality, we needed a leader who was steady and brought people together and was selfless enough to do the rarest thing there is in politics, putting his own ambition aside for the sake of the country. History will remember Joe Biden as an outstanding president who defended democracy at a moment of great danger. And I am proud to call him my president, but I am even prouder to call him my friend. Now, the torch has been passed. Now it is up to all of us to fight for the America we believe in. And make no mistake, it will be a fight. for all the incredible energy we've been able to generate over the last few weeks, for all the rallies and the memes. This will still be a tight race in a closely divided country. A country where too many Americans are still struggling. Where a lot of Americans don't believe government can help. And as we gather here tonight, the people who will decide this election are asking a very simple question. Who will fight for me? Who's thinking about my future, about my children's future, about our future together? One thing is for certain, Donald Trump is not losing sleep over that question. Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems since he rode down his golden escalator 9 years ago. It has been a constant stream of gripes and grievances that's actually been getting worse now that he's afraid of losing to Kamala. There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes. It just goes on and on and on. The other day I heard someone compare Trump to the neighbor who keeps running his leaf blower outside your window every minute of every day. Now, from a neighbor, that's exhausting. From a president, it's just dangerous. The truth is, Donald Trump sees power as nothing more than it means to his ends. He wants the middle class to pay the price for another huge tax cut that would mostly help him and his rich friends. He killed a bipartisan immigration deal written in part by one of the most conservative Republicans in Congress that would have helped secure our southern border because he thought trying to actually solve the problem would hurt his campaign. He doesn't. Do not boo. Vote. He doesn't seem to care if more women lose their reproductive freedom since it won't affect his life. And most of all, Donald Trump wants us to think that this country is hopelessly divided between us and them. Between the real Americans, who of course support him. And if we want to win over those who aren't yet ready to support our candidates, we need to listen to their concerns and maybe learn something in the process. After all, if a parent or grandparent occasionally says something that makes us cringe, we don't automatically assume they're bad people. We recognize that the world is moving fast, that they need time and maybe a little encouragement to catch up. Our fellow citizens deserve the same grace we hope they'll extend to us. That's how we can build a true Democratic majority, one that can get things done. And by the way, that does not just matter to the people in this country. The rest of the world is watching to see if we can actually pull this off.
Okay, with that, he said the rest of the world is watching us. We don't hear that enough in our homes, in our schools, in our churches, in our ladies' meetings, on TV. We don't hear that enough that the world is watching us. And we don't tell our kids, especially the chocolate ones, our black and brown children, we don't talk enough to them about not only is the world watching us black people, but our Europeans is watching us. They're observing us. And they also mimic us to exploit us, not to help us, but to make money off of it. You know, we've always been a form of entertainment and exploitation, and we have also been capital. We don't tell our kids enough that you have to break that cycle. It's up to y'all now, because we didn't got old. We're walking on canes now, okay? Some of us, I hate to say. But it's up to y'all to break that cycle. You're not entertainment. You are a builder of worlds, of businesses. And the world is watching us. And what do you think the world said when they elected a criminal and someone who's married to a woman that got naked pictures on the internet, and then find out that they was friends with a sex trafficker, and we elected someone who has a criminal record? What do you think they saying? Wow. And they got the nerve to talk about we being corrupt. Come on now. And every day, that's a shame that we have to hear about.
Cyborgs are released. That's what folks online are joking about, as during an event at the Oval Office yesterday, President Donald Trump was flanked by a woman who
we have to hear about a pedophile. That's embarrassing. Not only to our kids, but people all over the world, children too. You can't sit up and view and listen to the president's speech in your kid's classroom, because you don't know what's gonna come out his mouth. He done talk about men's penises. He done call people names. He done said the F word, the B word. I mean, come on. They act like we don't supposed to be decent no more. It's scary out here. And you listen to the news and you're like, what the world is happening to people? This is like the third time I heard about a murder-suicide in a family. And then just the other day, a 17-year-old killed his mom and their 14-year-old brother. What is going on? Why are people so afraid of living? Afraid of getting help? That's why I said we really think that it's okay out here. And I heard someone say on the radio that even though the situation is dire and people don't have really money, but they say that people are using credit. And I know credit is easy to get these days. Borrowing money is easy to get. They give you just enough to keep your ass in debt, make a little interest money, But they said people are spending all of their money and using credit more, even though we are really headed towards a recession and probably soon a depression. But you know why people are spending so much money? Because that's the only thing that's bringing us happiness. Because it seems like the whole nation is under a black cloud because of this man. One man, like I said the other day, one man caused a depression that lasted 10 years. Look at this. Really? If that don't show you how cuckoo this man is, he on stage with this big bandage. Now, you know, they didn't have to put that big bandage on his ear. Oh, my goodness. Now, I want y'all to tell me, did he mention anything about health care? How important it is to have health care for every American?
Seriously wounded. 2 other great warriors. Spoke to them today. David Dutch and James Copenhaver.
Warriors.
2 great people.
You don't even know them.
I also spoke to all 3 families of these tremendous people. Our love and prayers are with them and always will be. We're never going to forget them. They came from And how good was Dana? Was Dana good? I mean, was he good? He was on probably the only vacation he's had in about, maybe ever, because he works, but about 10 years with his wife, very far away. I won't tell you where, but very, very far away, beautiful place. And my people called, and he said, I won't be able to do it. This is many, many years. I promised my wife I can't do it. And they came in, they said,
this is what they want to hear. They travel hours to go to this convention, stand in line for hours to get up to see this man and hear this man talk about these mundane things. Oh my goodness. Come on, let's see.
horrible war with Russia and Ukraine, which would have never happened if I was president, and the war caused by the attack on Israel, which would have never happened if I was president. Iran was broke. Iran had no money. Now Iran has $250 billion. They made it all over the last 2.5 years. They were broke. I watched the other day on a show called Deface the Nation. Has anyone seen it? And they had a congressman who was a Democrat say, well, whether you like him or not, Iran was broke dealing with Trump. I told China and other countries, if you buy from Iran, we will not let you do this in this country, and we put tariffs on every product you do send in of 100% or more. And they said to me, well, I think that's about it. They weren't going to buy any oil. And they were ready to make a deal. Iran was going to make a deal with us. And then we had that horrible, horrible result that we'll never let happen again. The election result.
See the difference? Listening to him, you feel madness. You feel sadness. You feel hopeless. Compared to listening to Obama and Joe Biden and Michelle Obama and you know, people like that, you feel your head lifting up. You feel your dreams being achieved. With this, you feel nothing but dread.
We're never going to let that happen again. They use COVID to cheat.
Ooh.
We're never going to let it happen again.
And we all found out how his administration got all those PP loans. And then their PP loans were forgiven.
Off all the sanctions, and they did everything possible for Iran. And now Iran is very close to having a nuclear weapon, which would have never happened. This is a shame what this administration, the damage that this administration has done. And I say it often. If you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States, think of it, the 10 worst, added them up, they will not have done the damage that Biden has done. Only going to use the term once. Biden. I'm not going to use the name anymore, just one time. The damage that he's done to this country is unthinkable. It's unthinkable. Together we will restore vision, strength, competence, and we're going to have a thing called common sense making most of our decisions, actually. It's all common sense. Just a few short years ago, under my presidency, we had the most secure border and best economy in the history of our country, in the history of the world. We had the greatest economy in the history of the world. We had never done anything like that.
Okay, let's look that up and compare notes. He said in 2020, from 2016 to 2020, we had the best economy, except when COVID hit after 2019. 2019. For 3 years, what did he do? He did not get us prepared for any emergency like that. You could tell. But he said we had the best economy. We're going to check that out. Let me see.
We were beating every country, including China, by leaps and bounds. Nobody had seen anything like it. We had no inflation, soaring incomes were going. Nobody can believe it. You can't believe what happened 4 years ago is happening now in reverse. And the world was at peace. Inflation has been a killer for our country. No matter what you make it, it doesn't matter because inflation is eating you alive. People that were putting away money, they were making great wages, the highest they've ever made, but they were putting away a lot of money. Now they are just being destroyed. They're not putting away anything. They're barely living. They're going into savings accounts. They're taking out their money to live because of inflation. Inflation, remember, it's called a country buster. You can go back to Germany from 100 years ago. You can go back to any country that suffered great inflation, and we've suffered the worst inflation we've ever had. But go back and see what's happened to those countries. We've had the worst inflation we've ever had.
2016 economy to 2020.
But in less than 4 years, our opponents have turned incredible success into unparalleled tragedy and failure. It's been a tremendous failure. Today, our cities are flooded with illegal aliens. Americans are being squeezed out of the labor force, and their jobs are taken. By the way, you know.
Okay.
The U.S. economy changed significantly between 2016 and 2020. It went from a 4.7% unemployment rate and moderate growth to historic job losses, large government support, and significant GDP changes by 2020.
The economy in 2016 inherited a stable labor market, continuing a steady recovery from the Great Recession. Unemployment rate stood at roughly 4.7 by the end of the year. Annual GOP grew moderate, lowering around 1.6% to 2.9%. Inflation remained low and stable at approximately 2.1. Federal debt sat near 76% of GOP. Pre-pandemic, unemployment dropped further, reaching a 50-year low of 3.5 in late 2019. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act passed in 2018 stimulated short-term growth. GDP growth peaked around 2.9 in 2018 before cooling to 2.3 in 2019. The national debt climbed significantly, reaching 105% of GDP by mid-2020 due to spending and tax cuts. The pandemic shock in 2020. COVID-19 lockdowns triggered the deepest post-war recession, spiking unemployment to 14.7% in 2020. Over 20 million jobs were lost in a single month, erasing prior gains. Real GDP plummeted a historic annualized rate of 28% in quarter two, followed by a record rebound in quarter three. Yeah, it was okay. President Trump says he built the greatest ever U.S. economy prior to the coronavirus outbreak, and that now is recovering faster. Reality check. It's true the economy was doing well prior to the pandemic, which began during Obama administration. So we need to check this stuff out. We need to start looking this stuff up so we can make sound decisions.
Who's taking the jobs that are created? 107% of those jobs are taken by illegal aliens. And you know who's being hurt the most by millions of people pouring into our country? The black population and the Hispanic population, because they're taking the jobs from our black population, our Hispanic population, and they're also taking them from unions.
Now, we all know that's a lie. The immigrants do jobs that most of us are not going to do. And they take the low pay and they work the long hours that we're not going to do. Because you know why? Because our standards have become low. And our work ethics are almost disappeared. And most of us are on drugs and alcohol and can't work. Most of us have records that will stop us from getting work. There is a systematic war on keeping us down. So they can say stupid stuff like that. They taking our jobs. What jobs are the immigrants working? In the field, right? On roofs, labor jobs. Now, when you go around the city and see all these orange barrels and see these construction workers, how many blacks you see working there? Hardly any. Unless you're in a black city like Jackson or Mobile or somewhere right there where it's mostly black. They don't want to give us no jobs that you are making over $30 an hour. Now, thank goodness the women have jobs like nursing and stuff like that that pays well. But they attacking that too. And a lot of us are not supporting middle class workers by helping them out, by giving them a break. You know, it's a shame they have to spend damn near $800 a week on child care. It's a goddamn shame. But is we trying to help them out? No. Are we volunteering? Yeah, y'all could just pay us $10 an hour. We just want to see y'all succeed. We'll never say shit like that because we damn stupid.
The unions are suffering because of it. Thank you. Thank you. I like you too. Thank you very much. Inflation has wiped out the life savings of our citizens and forced the middle class into a state of depression and despair. That's what it is. It's despair and depression. We cannot and will not let this continue. Less than 4 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. We're going to be a great nation again.
Remember that. Remember, he said we're going to be a great nation if he's elected. Honestly, have anybody ever looked up the word great? What does it mean to be great? What does it mean to be great? What does it mean to be great?
Be great means being very good, excellent, or successful. It can describe high performance or having qualities like skill and admirable character. It's used to describe excellence, achievement, or even personal character.
A person with that kind of character has the nerve to mention great.
Thank you. With proper leadership, every disaster we are now enduring will be fixed, and it will be fixed very quickly. So tonight, whether you've supported me in the past or not, I hope you will support me in the future, because I will bring back the American dream. That's what we're going to do. You don't even hear about the American dream. With great humility, I'm asking you to be excited about the future of our country. Be excited. Be excited.
Okay.
Amounts of energy. If we're going to produce the new, if you look at some of the things that have been done and some of the things that we're going to do, but AI needs literally twice the electricity that's available now in our country. Can you imagine? But instead, we're spending places where they recharge electric cars. They built 8 chargers at a certain location toward the Midwest. 8 chargers for $9 billion. Think of them as a tank for filling up your gas. Think of it. They spent $9 billion on 8 chargers, 3 of which didn't work.
8 chargers. Let's check that out. You know, I mean, you can't talk about nobody when you did just as worse. They make me sick with that. You know, it's like 2 kids on the playground talking about each other's parents. It's sickening. When did they spend $9 million on 8 chargers? Charlie, no, that is not what I said. Who spent $9 billion on 8 charges?
The claim that someone spent $9 billion on 8 electric vehicle chargers is false. It's an exaggerated point made by Donald Trump during the 2024 campaign.
See what I mean? You know, we should not have to be continually lied to.
Most people don't think about their furnace or
like
AC.
I tell people, tell the truth. The truth is just as bad. You don't have to lie. Lies get people killed. Lies people drive people to insanity because they know you lying. But a part of their brain wants to believe that lie, that they know you lying. And it's going against, a lot of these people have decency, but it's being override by somebody else's indecency.
And if you were going to do this all over our country, this crazy electric mandate, if you're going to do this all, and by the way, I'm all for electric. They have their application. But if somebody wants to buy a gas-powered car, gasoline-powered car, or a hybrid, they're going to be able to do it. And we're going to make that change on day one.
Okay, day one, what did he do? He let go thousands of criminals onto the American sphere. And like 30% of them have already committed more crimes, including raping a child. That's what he did on day one. Okay, I'm about to end, but we're going to continue this because we need to know what's going on. Because oh, y'all remember this. Y'all remember this. I know you remember this.
Mr. President, this time, what would it take for you to be convinced that Africa?
Well, I can answer that for the president. It's for him. No, seriously.
I'd rather have him answer.
Yeah, I'd rather answer that. It will be.
Our president will respond to you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mr. President.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us on the quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture. He would not be with me. So it'll take him, President Trump, listening to their story.
Look at him. It just kills him to see somebody else talking with that character, with that authority, and that proper understanding English.
To their perspective. That is the answer to your question.
But, Mr. President, I must say that we have, we have thousands of stories talking about it. Sure. And we have documentaries, we have news stories, and that. Is Natalie here, somebody here to turn that? I could show you a couple of things, and it has to be responded to. Yeah, sure. Let me see the articles, please, if you would. And turn the lights down. Turn the lights down, and just put this on. It's right behind you, Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. South Africans occupy land. That's who we are. Can we drop my membership from this useless parliament?
Yes, Honorable Member. Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act. Shoot to kill the mother, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer, pa, pa.
The man of D-Day in PE is a white man. So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you have turned a white man. Not because Mashama and Soli will not be touched. They will be touched, no one. But we are starting with this whiteness. We are cutting the throat of whiteness. Shoot to kill Yamasa. Kill the brewer, the farmer. Kill the brewer, the farmer. Pa, pa, pa. Shoot to kill Yamasa. Kill the brewer, the farmer. Kill the brewer, the farmer.
I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm saying to you, was not called for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't ever see the future.
Yeah, but I mean, you understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter, they freak out. It sounds like a genocidal activity.
Who will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek refugee in America.
Now this is very bad. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross.
Now we all know that's a lie. It all found out that was not true. We are sick and tired of the lies because the truth is bad enough. He talks about these white farmers over here in South Africa to this extent that they would spend all this money to have this South African president come and all their people and spend all that money on welcoming them and putting up with this lies, instead of helping these homeless kids, these kids out here starving. When are we going to stop this? It's time. We can do this. We can get at least it back on track of being a better union. Because remember, all these old hags and all these people that have been hanging on to their racism and that Nazism, they dying out. And you know what we're going to be left with? Their predecessors. But this time it's going to be worse because a lot of us is tired of it. And then you got this AI that's going to be in here. You really ain't going to know what's real and what ain't real. So we better start thinking, and we better get serious about what's going on and stop all the partying all the time and drinking and looking all good. It's time for us to start getting back real before it be taken away. This AI is going to take away our realness. This is crazy. Y'all remember that? This was crazy too.
What's your message for
If I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned.
with Putin? I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
I would respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions.
Okay. You hear that, don't you?
What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask
Really?
you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now the President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop. During 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly
but,
right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count one.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems? Bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have.
Okay. All right. I'm going to get off of here because my Wi-Fi is messing up. But don't you see how little these people are? They cannot take people that know more than them, that talk better than them, that have more sense than them. And what do? They attack. And it's rubbing off into the whole atmosphere. That when somebody says something you don't like, you attack. You don't listen. You don't think. You attack. And that's what's happened a lot of time when you read the comments. They're talking about people's looks. They're talking about, like that one that gonna say, well, they made a post about these black people being hung but in trees in Mississippi, and some white dude gonna say, well, you need to stop hanging around trees. This is what's happening to us. Okay, thank you for listening. Everybody have a wonderful day. Stay strong. Vote for life.